The normal rituals of a new leader, being sworn in at Government House.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of Her Excellency's Governor General of Australia.
I will, well and truly, serve the people of Australia in the office of Deputy Prime Minister.
Technically, Barnaby Joyce was being sworn in today as a minister. There is no actual position of Deputy Prime Minister or party leader that requires being sworn in. But some aspects of the ritual were missing. Normally, the ascension of a new political leader or minister is greeted with a torrent of statements of welcome from lobby groups and proclamations of how much those lobby groups look forward to working with the newly anointed one. But this has not been the case in the second coming of Barnaby Joyce. The rural sector was particularly notable for its silence. The National Farmers Federation, for example, did not release a statement, nor did many of the other rural lobby groups.
Those major groups in the agriculture sector and in rural Australia are not standing up to support the revolving door.
That might be explained by the fact that Barnaby Joyce's return to the Nationals' leadership has crystallised just how far the traditional party of the bush has strayed from its agricultural base and is seen these days instead as a party of the mining industry. When pressed for a comment on the change of Nationals' leadership, the NFF told 7:30, it supports an economy-wide target of net carbon zero by 2050 with two important caveats: that an economic pathway to neutrality is clearly identified and that farmers aren't disadvantaged by a further regulatory burden. So the peak farming body supports an economy-wide target of net carbon zero by 2050. But as a backbencher, the new leader of the Nationals threatened to cross the floor against exactly that sort of target. He got momentum for his return to the job from colleagues who say they are dead against such a target.
Are the regional Australians who want the job opportunities from net zero, including the National Farmers Federation, wrong?
The sort of place that we'll be really focusing on that they maintain their job is in the member for Capricornia seat. We're going to be absolutely focused, laser-like, that the coal miners in the seat of Capricornia keep their job.
Notice he was talking all about miners' jobs, not farmers. The disquiet from groups like the NFF and Farmers for Climate Action points to some of the risks the Nationals have taken by restoring Joyce to the leadership, punting on his cut-through political qualities to shore up support in regional Queensland seats, as well as potentially win seats from Labor in the New South Wales Hunter Valley and the Northern Territory. The early lukewarm reception from the bush is not a good thing.
I'm just gobsmacked that there isn't somebody who could bring a new way of doing things, some new integrity, a broader understanding of what rural and farming people want for Australia. It isn't about representing me. It's not about representing any of the industries, the people I work with all over Australia.
Joyce certainly has a more aggressive political style.
I think I'm looking at someone here who might be under a little bit of pressure himself.
Pitt joins me. Last week, Nationals Resources Minister Keith Pitt posed a direct challenge to the PM's publicly stated goal that Australia would seek to hit net zero emissions, preferably by 2050. Pitt declared the Nationals had never been consulted about this or agreed to it. But 7:30 revealed last night that Pitt had attended a series of Cabinet committee meetings to plan how Australia could reach net zero by 2050.
Did you raise any objections in those meetings about, the Nats not having agreed to that target? And if not, then how can you now claim that you weren't consulted?
Well, firstly, clearly I won't be breaching Cabinet confidentiality. I shouldn't be surprised about that.
I think the reality is that the farmers and the primary producers that I work with are way ahead in this discussion. They know it's coming. They're already adapting. They're already bringing new technologies into their workplaces to actually deal with this stuff.
There has also not been universal acclaim from rural women about Joyce's return either. Alana Johnson, one of the founders of Australian Women in Agriculture, says Joyce will have to prove himself.
I'm waiting to see Barnaby actually step up and say that he's going to endorse every recommendation by Kate Jenkins about the culture at Parliament. And I'm also waiting for Barnaby to follow through with what he says, that he really wants women in the party, by having quotas, opening up the candidate pipeline.
If Joyce does help boost support for the coalition in regional Australia, the government will be hoping he won't cost them support in marginal urban electorates.
The main concern in the electorate of North Sydney from national, state and local research is climate action, urgent climate action.
Kristen Locke is working on the campaign for an independent to challenge the moderate Liberal member for North Sydney, Trent Zimmerman, who holds a seat on a 9% margin.
The election of Barnaby Joyce should help us. It fires us up more because we now have even more to fight for climate action in Australia.
The Coalition has long mocked Labor for tailoring its message on climate change to different regions. A balance the Coalition may have complicated for its own city members with the resurrection of Barnaby Joyce.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.